Hello, welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today we want to talk about a very interesting topic. Either you can work for money or you can have money work for you. The choice is yours. Now, for years I worked for money, and a lot of people do. Nothing wrong with that. You know, some people will work on a job for money, some people do anything for money, huh? But it's very interesting that in today's society, as we go through school and we go to college and we watch TV, it's almost like these are the things you have to do and then get a job. It's kind of like that's what you have to do. That's not all that you can do. Many times, if you just go to school, get a really good education, a lot of times what that grooms you to do is work for somebody else. And again, not that that's a bad idea. Not that that's a bad thing, but when you're working for somebody else, money is not working for you, you are working for money. So we want to talk about that idea today. Let's look at the difference. Now, before we get into that, I would like to say thank you for those who subscribe to the channel, who watch the channel. We really appreciate it. Our goal, our idea in life is to help as many people as possible, to encourage people to set goals. Any of you can set goals. You need to set goals. You have ideas that other people in society need. You may be the next Jeff Bezos. You may be the next Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Warren Buffett. Now, if you're Warren Buffett, you need to get started about 10 and live till you're in your 90s. That's his system. If you can do that, you could be the next Warren Buffett, but you could do it. So it's tough, but many people have gotten ahead through various avenues. You can do it. Your ideas are very valuable to yourself and to your family and to fellow man. So just remember that. You can do it. Now, I used to work for money, and again, nothing wrong with that. It happens. I worked in factories. It was hard work. I liked the work. I don't mind working, but after so long, it's kind of like, I'm going to have to work the rest of my life. Let me show you how much. I slowly moved ahead for a while, but I slowly was moving up, but I was never getting ahead. I was constantly going to work. Look here. I was going to have to work till I was 67 and a half to get full Social Security. Now, some of you watching, maybe if you're a little older, you're saying, no, you only have to work till you're 65 to get full Social Security. That was true until several years ago, about 15 years ago. I'm 60 right now. About 10 or 15 years ago, the Social Security office sent me a letter saying that the people who would usually have to work till they're 65 were now going to have to work. If they were my age, they were going to have to work till they were 67 and a half to get full Social Security. And I didn't like it. I grumbled a little bit. I said, well, that's the way it is. What are you going to do? It's a federal government, so you do it. And then a few years later, they sent me another letter and said, the amount that you would have gotten at 67 and a half, you're now going to get only 90% of that. They cut 10% right off. Now, I started working at about 16 years of age. So let's add that up. If you take from 16 to 67 and a half, that's 51 and a half years. 51 and a half years I was going to have to work in order to get full Social Security, which was now only 90% of that, if I worked 51 and a half years. That doesn't seem fair to me. I worked 51 and a half years where it was only going to be about 49. Now it's 51 and a half, and now I'm only going to get 90%, and there's nothing I can do about it. Doesn't seem right, but hey, it's the federal government. What do? You just do it. So I said, well, maybe there's something else. Let me ask you this question. What was I doing wrong? The answer is nothing. I was doing nothing wrong. I was paying my taxes. I was working. I was paying my taxes in my check. I was paying taxes at the end of the year most years. So I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was paying my bills. I was trying to get ahead. I was trying to work for the man. I was doing what I was supposed to do. But it was very slowly. Me and my wife both working, and we're barely getting ahead, and it's going to take a long time. Maybe by the time we get old, maybe we can have our house paid for, maybe have enough money for a little bit of a retirement, maybe get to travel a little bit at 67 and a half, maybe. Who knows? So I wasn't doing anything wrong. So what happened was one day I was at work, and for those of you who may have heard this story, I tell it often. Interesting story, I'll try to make it short. I was at work one day, working at a factory here in Richmond, Kentucky. Good factory. I asked management, I said, could I take off half a day? They said, yeah, we're not doing much today. Yeah, go ahead and take off. So I took off half a day. And I thought to myself, how in the world is everybody else getting ahead and I'm not? Well, the way I chose to look at that was, I said, I'm going to drive through town. And I drove through town in Richmond, Kentucky. And every business I drove by, I said, that person made it, that person made it, that person made it, that person made it. And you do that for a few hours, a few thousand times. Every business you come to, if you come to a strip mall with 5 businesses, that person made it, that person made it, that person made it, that person made it, that person made it. After doing that for a few hours, you realize, you know what? All these people can't be smarter than me. Maybe a lot of them, but not all of them. There's no way all of them are smarter than me. I didn't do well in high school, didn't do well in school, didn't go to college, but I thought there's no way that 100% of these people are smarter than me. So what are they doing different? They're thinking different. Their plan is different. So I said, I'm going to have to start whatever they're doing, I'm going to have to do. I can't just keep doing it the way I've always done it and slowly try to get ahead till I'm 67 and a half. That system is not working. So I was working for money, but money was not working hard for me. So I needed to have money working for me. I thought if I'm going to have a better life, a life that I control more, I'm going to have to figure something out. So that's what I set out to do. I immersed myself in knowledge. Now, back then, that was 2003. Back then, we didn't have the internet like we do today, with about 1 million podcasts and videos that you could watch every single day or listen to every single day teaching you how to build wealth. They're out there. If you want to listen to all kinds of people, find some of your favorites, put them on your favorite list, listen to them every day. Every time they come out with something new, listen to them. It'll motivate you. So I immersed myself. Now, back then, because the internet wasn't as popular and as big as what it is today, what people would do is they would have seminars. They would come around to hotels and they would give a 2-hour seminar free. I said, well, that's good. I can do free. So I would go to these free seminars. Now, the next seminar they would want you to go to generally around $300 to $500. And if you went to that one, they would encourage you to go to the next one. It's about $1,000, $1,200, maybe $1,500. And then the next one would be around $3,000 to $5,000. The next one about $10,000. They keep going up. Well, I went to some of those that was a little bit bigger, nicer. They give a lot more information. Went to a few of those. Good information, good people. But the thing of it is, what I was getting was a lot of information. I had to figure out what works for me. But it wasn't only seminars. I started reading books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, great book. Motivational book. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Millionaire Next Door by Stanley and Danko. There are so many good books out there. And most of those books you can probably get on audiobook. You don't have to read them. Maybe you're a slow reader. Maybe you just don't like reading. You can listen to them in your car while you're doing dishes, while you're mowing the yard, whatever. Listen to them. Immerse yourself in this. You can do this. I did it. Anybody can do it. Remember, I didn't do well in school, didn't go to college. You can do it if I can do it. Now, one thing I'm extremely big on, you have to set goals. Now, I've told a lot of people that throughout throughout the years. I've been in this business now almost 20 years in real estate, buying and selling real estate, and generally apartments, some businesses. But I realized early on, all these books, all these seminars, all these tapes, all these CDs, all these people were saying you have to set goals. Every single one of them, you have to set goals. And so when I started setting goals, I learned something very valuable. I started setting goals, and remember, they'll tell you keep those goals concise, keep them where you can see them every day. And you know what? If you see that goal every day, and it's maybe on a mirror or it's on your desk where you can see it, you look at that goal every day, you know what that does? That tells your mind, this is what you need to do. And it encourages you. Now, I don't know how many people I've told that very thing throughout the years, and they say, well, I've got my goals. I just got them up here. I don't have them written down. If you don't have them written down, you don't have them. You have to write those goals down. Very important. You have got to put those goals on paper. Put them where you can see them. I don't care if you write them by hand. I don't care if you do them in shorthand. I don't care if you type them out. I don't care if you print them out on your computer. Maybe you put it in color, whatever. Just put them where you can see them often. You need to see often what your goals are, because that gives you direction. You can do this. Devise a plan. Devise a plan. Don't just say, okay, I have a goal. I'd like to be a millionaire or a billionaire. Well, how do you plan to do that? Well, I don't know, but I would sure like to be a millionaire or a billionaire. Well, you've got to get a plan. Are you going to buy real estate? Are you going to come up with an invention? Now, coming up with an invention is a little tough. There's a lot of competition out there. Not saying you can't do it. Many people have. You have to have a plan, because if you're going to come up with an invention, you're going to get patents. A lot of work in that, a lot of effort, a lot of work. You have to plan well. Devise a plan. Now, lastly, these three are very important. Set goals. Devise a plan. This one is paramount. Just like me, you will have to go to work on that plan. You could have the best goals ever. You could put it on paper. You could have it printed. You could have it in sparkly dust. I don't care. You put those plans down. You can put them on paper. But unless you enact that plan, it will not work. Now, I've seen a lot of gurus. They come on these podcasts. They come on these videos and these CDs. They'll say, oh, if you just think it, the universe will give it. It won't happen. It won't happen. Those very guys that's telling you that, they are out working their heinies off. They're working their hands to the bones, and they're telling you, you don't have to do anything. Just think it. That's not what they do. They go out and they work it. They put out videos. They write books. They are doing a lot telling you, you don't have to do a lot. That's not what they do. They're working hard. Everybody I've ever known that's made it, become very wealthy, has worked like crazy. Generally, everybody, and myself included, when I think about a 40-hour work week, I think, my goodness, what are you just working half-time? You just working a part-time job? I don't know anybody, if they've built wealth, they generally start out about 60, 70, 80, maybe 100 hours a week. Every one of them. You have to have good goals, and you have to have a good plan, but you also have to work very hard. Thinking and doing. These people out there that say, all you got to do is think it and it'll happen, won't happen. It won't happen. Even they themselves don't do it that way. It won't happen. Listen, everybody can do this. And again, let me throw out this statistic. About 1,700 millionaires are made every day in America. Why? Because of podcasts, very similar to this. There are so many how-tos. Get a list of them. Get your favorite, get your Fab Five or whatever you want to do. Get some that you listen to all the time. It will motivate you. Listen to motivational speeches. A lot of good ones out there. Immerse yourself in this. You can do this. You can become Redneck Rich. See you on the next video.